When it comes down to My Hero Academia, one can say that this season had a lot going for it. It is the continuation of the Liberation Army, as well as the second half dealing with the consequences from the war arc. But if there is one thing we can say that defines this season specifically, it's peak. It is what I consider as one, if not the best My Hero season of all time. Possibly slightly surpassing season 3, considering all the stuff that happened in season 3. It had a good start, it had one hell of a middle, and unfortunately, that last episode is kind of cringe, as much as people dislike me saying that. But overall, it is what I call a peak season. So join me today as we discuss why season 6 is considered to be peak. The opening to this arc is the Liberation Army versus the heroes. The war arc, as one would call it. The Liberation War arc. And the thing with this is it has one hell of an amount of action, as well as continuing on the pieces that were left off. We have Hawks betraying Twice and forced to kill him because he was put in a position where if Twice survives this and starts duplicating, then it's game over for the heroes. So he needed to be eliminated. As well as trapping the Liberation Army people and stopping Shigaraki from awakening, as his awakening changes the course of the entire battle. We have mostly Endeavor having the biggest arc here, as when Shigaraki does wake up and starts wrecking shit, completely changing this from the hero's advantage to the villain's advantage with one single attack, killing many people, we have Endeavor, the current strongest hero, having to face him. And it is amazing seeing just how Shigaraki is just tanking everything. Hell, even when he's quirkless, he is still giving the heroes a run for their money. Deku. I think if out of all the characters who had the most development this season, it has to be Deku. Although he didn't had a lot to do at the beginning of the war arc, the moment Shigaraki got involved and mentioned One for All, he was on high alert. His fight is pretty interesting. He's giving it his all. He's tearing his arms. He's basically fucking himself up. He basically says to continue getting up because he doesn't want to be the worthless Deku. The quirkless, worthless Deku that had been abused, that had been shunned by society because he was quirkless. I think that's one interesting aspect of Deku, is that despite him accepting the name Deku, the thing that Bakugou constantly called Izuku Midoriya as an insult, he took it as his own hero name, Deku. He's still struggling to get over the fact that he was bullied his entire life for the main core reason that he was quirkless, basically useless, and he is still giving it his all. That is impressive in many ways, as well as the fact that his body has gone strong enough to where it won't blow himself up, basically showing that Izuku Midoriya has improved with One for All over the span of 1 year, giving us what I call one hell of a protagonist, as well as Vigilante Deku. Although this is still the same part of Deku, Vigilante Deku is at his wit's end. He is going all out. He doesn't care about himself. He wants everyone safe. He abandoned his friends, his home, his school. He abandoned everything to keep them safe, with All Might by his side, guiding him in his Batman-like car. They basically are a duo, with Deku taking on a bunch of the villains and All Might being there for support. Only for the moment All For One points at him and tells him that he's next, in the same way that All Might had said that he was next. That was the moment Deku decided that he needed to abandon All Might, as he doesn't want his mentor to be in any danger, especially since he doesn't have a quirk. Now, this is important because Deku has abandoned All Might. At this point, he is giving it his all to fight everything on his own, because he alone is the key to beating All for One. And this leads into this section. The Lady Nagant fight. I think this one should be its own section away from the Vigilante Deku section, because this one is more specific in the fact that Vigilante Deku is fighting against someone who is very skilled on a lot of things, as well as a very dangerous foe. Someone that Hawks even recommended that Deku should run away from. The fact that this fight was not only epic, but it showed how Deku has improved in his fighting skills. How he is very calculated in both mentally and physical combat. Mentally in the sense that he's able to think quickly of a plan of counter-attacking as well as his own attacks. And physically, well, he's able to match blow for blow with Lady Nagant, as well as outspeed a bullet and break her arm. Her weapon arm, and outmatch her. This fight is also epic in the sense that we're seeing Deku master Fa Jin, something he just barely learned, showing just how very skilled Deku is as a hero and a fighter. Class 1A had a lot going on. In the war arc, we do have them participating in fighting Gigancho, and their efforts were the key for his defeat, for him to fall. The problem was that they were not able to get him to fall asleep in time. Midnight had instructed them in her last stand before dying that they need to have him get knocked out, as all the heroes that could do it weren't there anymore. And although they did succeeded, too many casualties were given. And they had to witness their teacher, someone that they care about deeply, be killed by the Liberation Army. And honestly, that's probably one of the missed opportunities. Having them truly introspect on the fact that their teacher died. But continuing on, they still strive to save Izuku Midoriya, especially considering that he gave them the letters, alerting them that he is leaving because he has one for all. And this causes them to want to help their friend. They had a battle with him, and they gave it everything they got. They don't want to hurt Deku. They don't want to hurt Izuku Midoriya, their friend. But they want to bring him back, because that is where he belongs, with them. They don't want their friend out there on his own, fighting until eventually he gets killed. So, everything that they did leads up to two important things. Bakugou's apology is something that has been a long time coming, as he is one of the major things that harmed Deku psychologically over the years, and he apologized. Although he did added some things that were not needed, such as why he did it, it is perfect either way. Because Bakugou is acknowledging that, yes, he viewed himself pathetic. He viewed himself as very behind, insecure, because Deku, despite being quirkless, was still giving it his all. And he just couldn't accept it, as he felt that he was lacking in being number one. But that doesn't excuse of his bullying towards Izuku Midoriya. And that is just perfect. As we do see that even in the bath scene, as much as I don't like it, there was one important thing. He started trying to call Deku Izuku. He's called Deku as an insult, but him calling him Izuku means that he is moving past that part of him, and he is trying his best to truly change. That is something that is an improvement for Bakugou from season 1 of how he was a very arrogant brat, to now that he accepts the fact that, yeah, strength comes with numbers sometimes, that he needs to take care of the others, and he needs to admit when he is wrong. Something that season 1 Bakugou would have never done at all. And to nearly cap this off, we have to talk about Ochako and her role in this story. In the war arc, she was giving it her all to help everyone else. has a support hero. She may not be the fighter brute strength like Deku, but she has her own ways of helping, as she did everything she can to help others, especially because her motivation is that she wants to make sure she can save everyone, as she doesn't want anyone else, similar to like Night Eye, to die. And it comes to a confrontation with Toga, someone that they share similarities. Toga in her past was forced to try to lock everything in, her emotions, until it cracked and exploded. Well, Ochako right now, Uravity, is basically holding her feelings, her true love to Deku. And eventually she sees something she didn't think she would see. She saw Toga cry. Something about My Hero is that the villains aren't just villains. They have emotions. And Ochako seeing this had changed her a bit. This all leads into the eventuality of the aftermath of the war arc, with heroes just giving up, everyone hating on them, blaming them, and leading to most quitting, while she still continues on, despite the fact that the society that they're trying to protect is constantly hating on them, blaming them for everything, leading into the most important scene of saving Izuku Midoriya, and that was her speech. Be a hero for heroes, as no one is having their backs. Sometimes they're on their own, and they just need someone there for them. As showing a flashback of when she was a kid, revealing that she saw a hero was injured, and with all the people cheering, he was able to still get up. This was the motivation for her being a hero, as she wants to save everyone's smiles, which includes the heroes, and she was able to succeed in getting through Izuku Midoriya, as he finally was able to be saved. All Might. I think All Might had one of the biggest arcs as well. Although he wasn't as prevalent in the first half, the war arc, he was there in the aftermath. He understood that there were things that were going on that he could not do anymore. And watching Hero Society collapse, with him having been the number one to save everything, no longer there, and watching everything he had feared when he told Night Eye that he didn't want to retire. Everything that he had predicted is coming true. The Hero Society is falling apart. All the civilians no longer want to rely on the heroes. And he, what is he? What can he even do? He has no quirk. He is just human. And seeing him at his lowest after Izuku Midoriya had abandoned him broke our main hero, as he was on his own, lacking on direction, uncertain on what he should do next. And what eventually saved them was the one person who idolized All Might, the hero killer Stain. Although Stain is a villain and did things wrong, he did want it to prove, and did prove in a way, that the Hero Society isn't exactly what it should be. It should be heroes like All Might, who are giving it their all because they want to protect people, not for fame, not for being recognized. And his chat, him showing the last person who All Might had saved in his hero career, still there, wanting to preserve the statue in honor of All Might, still believing in him. That was what also saved the greatest hero in My Hero Academia. With everything coming to a close, the villains are getting ready for their final match with the heroes, with Shigaraki's body starting to get closer and closer to perfection. We have reached the near end of My Hero, with Season 7 possibly being the last season, most likely being the last season, and I'm all for it. As much as I do dislike the bath scene and the apology that Deku gave All Might, as those two are very lackluster and deserve a proper video, it should be noted that that doesn't harm Season 6, as I believe that the ending, having Star and Stripe appear and fly off into the next season, showing that there are still heroes out there willing to fight. In the world, they're willing to fight for All Might's sake. This is Green Warrior 291, signing out. Thank you for listening, and have a good day.